Hi guys, Stephen Halligan here from Halligan's Fitness Personal Training. I'm also Kokoda's trainer and also WW's trainer as well. Just quickly guys, today an important thing to have is poles. I remember the very first time I ever went to do Kokoda, I thought it was for wimps basically, and then by the time I'd come down polys, I was holding a stick in my hand. I would suggest these to pretty much everyone, unless you're running. If you're running, they're probably going to get in your way. 60% to 70% of the people in the event are actually walking, or walking and jogging. So if you're doing that, anything less than running, you should be using poles. It's going to help you when you're going up the hills. You can use your arms as well, as opposed to just totally depending on your legs. You can get your upper body into it and it'll help you get up those hills. If you haven't been out on the course yet, there's some very, very steep hills, and when the going gets tough, this will just help you drive up with your arms. So that's the first thing I would recommend. Please don't poo-pah them. I'm a personal trainer. I've done Kokoda 4 times and I've used them every time, and they're definitely worth having. They're definitely worth having, I promise you that. Another thing I would say is trail shoes. Now, there's a bit of a debate whether I go hiking boots or trail shoes. Now, the difference between a hiking shoe or hiking boot and a trail shoe is hiking boots don't usually get rid of water quickly. If you get water in them, it stays in them. So it's like walking around with buckets of water on your feet. The difference with these is they've been made to get the water away quick. They'll drain so much quicker. They've got aggressive tread on them. They're more flexible than a boot. I personally, I've worn like tall boots before in work and stuff like that. I feel like I'm going to break my ankle and I'm going to twist it in this. Some people might feel they're going to break their ankle in this, but I feel like it's a lot more loose. I feel like I've got more control over where I put my foot, especially if you're going to run down the mountains. But it's got great grip. Easily, the water gets away quick, and it's definitely a better one to do. If you go through any creek crossings, they'll drain so much quicker. I would recommend not fiddling around with your shoes. Once they're on, leave them on. You'll feel hot spots coming on during the race. That's totally normal. It will feel like a fire under your foot, and a lot of the time I've taken my shoes off to have a look and there's nothing there, and it makes it worse because as soon as you take your shoe off, your actual foot swells up more. Another thing I'd recommend, it's great if you want to tape your toes, but in gingy socks, like with this, it pretty much tapes each toe individually anyway, and I've hardly ever had blisters. Like I said, I've done it 4 times. I've done Brisbane Kokoda twice. I think I've only had about 3 little tiny blisters. I've never had major blisters ever. I have lost a couple of toenails over the years, but that's when you're going down the hills more than anything. So if you do get a size that's half bigger for your shoe, that should with your foot swelling, that'll help as well. Another thing are these gaiters. So these just go around your ankles. You put them over your socks like that, and it goes over your shoe. It's just going to stop any rocks and sticks getting into your shoe. That can pretty much finish your race. If you end up with a rock in there and you, for some reason, don't notice it, or you're just determined to keep your shoes on in that instance, and you've got a big rock under the middle of your foot, that will definitely take you out the race. For me personally, I've got bow legs. I've had operations on my legs when I was 7 years old. I've got bad knees. It's just the way it is. But these here are great as well. I've put these on and they definitely supported my knee either side, just to stop that movement that way, and also to keep them warm as well and well supported. They are a bit more expensive, but they're well worth the money if you've got bad knees. Another thing I'd say about is headlamps. I've had people that have been using, I've heard stories about people using their camera, their lights on their phones. I have seen people with cheaper options. They've just gone and got one from Coles or something like that for like $12. That's just, I don't know. If you want to do that, you go for it. But I would spend the most amount of money on a headlamp, because basically when you're going to be walking at night, there's twigs, there's sticks, there's rocks, there's all sorts of stuff under your foot. And me personally, as a personal trainer, if I don't work, I don't get paid. So you'd be better off spending the money as opposed to missing work or missing not being able to work because you break your ankle and you're out of the race as well. I think it's worth the investment of paying a little bit extra for a really, really good light so you can see everything. Oh, and one other thing, gels I would say. So gels are great if you use them to get up the hills and stuff like that, just to give you some energy. In saying that, with all of this stuff, all the stuff I've gone through, please try it in the training. You do it at the training. You don't do it on the event. You don't go save your money and buy a whole bunch of gels and use them on the event because you're probably going to end up throwing it up. You want to do all this stuff prior to the event and get used to it. And it may not be, what I've shown you may not be for you. You might try poles and go, I don't need them, but I would recommend at least, even if you borrow some off somebody at first and just use them. And that's pretty much those tips there right there. Good luck, guys.